Just a cool 90 million degrees here in Englewood. I believe that's where I am. Broncos training camp's happening right there. We are waiting to talk to Sean Payton. We're going to talk to Russell Wilson. We're going to sit down with Jerry Judy and Cortland Sutton. And then who else? Patrick Surtain's a friend of the show. We'll see if we can get him. I'd like to dap up George Payton while I'm here. It's exciting. It's the AFC West, and I really thought this was ice. That's why I came over here. But instead, it's celebrating their whiteout game. Look at these helmets. You got the old school logo. We don't know when they're wearing this yet. Maybe I can get that out of Coach Payton. But they're wearing them twice this year, and this is, of course, snow-capped in celebration of that Rocky Mountain vibes. And we're excited to be here, and I'm not going to wear my sunglasses once today, so you're going to have to deal with this face for the next hour. Let's go. Enough with last year. This is all about 2023, new coach, new vibes. Who dis? Broncos. Let's do that thing that everybody says that they should do. Let's ride, and that's what we're doing here. We rode on an airplane, not a terrifying flight, a nice cool 2 hours from L.A. to Denver to Englewood, where it is it's obviously very warm, as you saw in my intro here, but the fans are enjoying their last open practice. There was a standing ovation as practice ended, and now I'm here waiting for the guys to roll in. And by the guys, I mean, we're bringing you Sean Payton, baby. We're bringing you Jerry Judy, Cortland Sutton, who knows on defense. I'd love to talk to Vance Joseph, once the head coach of the squad, back doing his thing on defense while Sean tries to cook with Russ. What is that going to look like? Listen, Russ hasn't done an interview like all spring long. Will he sit down with me? If I give him like the, please, if I give him a fan, a donut, like I did all these things to come here. Big thanks off the top to the Broncos front office, the community, the player personnel, the equipment people. You're seeing the grounds crew back there. It is hot. They're in it. This is not some easy camp. They are exhausted. They are, Coach Sean Payton is working these guys as you're seeing them play many snaps in these preseason games. So big thanks to everybody who helped make this happen for us to be out there, and for FanDuel for letting us extend our training camp tour to Denver to check things out on this side of town in the AFC West. Now, there's some questions I have about this team. I want to be excited. You know, I'm always going to cheer for Sean Payton. It's just what it is, okay? But the question, the big one that everybody's talking about is, what is this relationship? What is it going to look like? Remember, right when Sean Payton decided to come here, I said, well, this is the most fascinating relationship in the entire world. You got the Boy Scout versus the Pirate. What is this going to be? But I don't think Coach Sean Payton gets enough credit. Sorry, Super Bowl winning head coach Sean Payton, Coach of the Year winner Sean Payton, for what he gets out of his quarterbacks. Let's not just pretend that he kicks it with Drew Brees and he had him and he got to lean on him. Not the case. It's such a BS lazy take for anybody to have about Coach Sean Payton. I don't even have to go back that far, though I will because I'm petty like that. 2021. People, we had Ian Book out there. We had Taysom Hill out there. We had Trevor Siemian out there trying to do their thing. Who else am I missing? Jameis, who, by the way, was turning a corner before the injury with Sean Payton calling the shots for the Saints. They were able to muster up 9 wins with that motley crew, okay? That's not Drew Brees out there doing his thing. And I also love this narrative, and I'm not taking anything away from Drew Brees, future Hall of Famer. Let's not pretend that Sean Payton inherited a future Hall of Famer back in 2006 when this happened, okay? That's not what happened. In fact, we all know what happened with San Diego. The Chargers said, Brees, walk. Sean sort of catered to him to get the best out of him, helping him, of course, turn into the legend that he is today. I'm going to just show you guys some numbers. Take a look at these. Drew brought the Saints from 3-13 to 10-6 in a playoff appearance. He threw for 1,000 more yards and boosted his passer rating considerably. Okay, he wasn't even a Pro Bowler in 2005, and he turns into Cinderella, the NFL's leading passer and a first-team All-Pro over Brady and Manning. Year 1 with Coach Payton. You really don't think that's the kind of impact that Sean Payton can have on Russell Wilson here with guys like Jerry Judy, Cortland Sutton, a guy like Dulcich who looked great today's camp? You know, the veteran pedigree. Sean's going to talk to us about the coaches. I want to hear about the coaching staff. You have to pick these guys in a hurry. You got to work. I haven't talked to coach in a long time. What have you been up to? Why does it look the way this looks? Can it happen? Okay, and in order for all of this to work, of course, beyond the Russell Wilson-Sean Payton relationship of it all, is the play action that we're seeing already, right? But all of that's dependent and, hinges on Javonte Williams, okay? And I'm putting my glasses on. Sean Payton doesn't like that at preseason games. That's okay. Javonte Williams has to be a star, okay? He has to be healthy. Do I believe he is? I believe that Coach wasn't out there looking for running backs. He was sizing up Josh Jacobs at the Super Bowl a little bit. But since then, he didn't. We've seen time and time again, Russell is at his best when he's got the run game, right? It's been a huge factor in Russell's success. So I have zero questions about Javonte's ability, people. What he did in 2021 was absolutely insane. He only played on, I have the numbers, 51% of snaps while splitting time with Melvin Gordon, who's now a Raven, okay? He still put up 7 touchdowns and over 1,200 yards. The only question I have is the knee, which I have no control over. I have to trust what's going on here. Coming off surgery, that's not fun. Will he be the same guy that was out the gates fire and flying as a rookie, okay? They're going to need him to shine. He's my other big question. I hope to see some of him and talk to some people here in the building about him today. And finally, you got to look at Vance Joseph's defense. You got to look at what's going on here. Who is getting after these AFC West quarterbacks? Sean Payton loves Patrick Mahomes, talks about him a lot. Talks about Drew Brees being in the draft room, was saying like, hey, I think we should maybe take a look at Mahomes and grab him, and that didn't happen, okay? What is the pass rushing situation here? Every successful team needs one. You're not winning a Super Bowl without one. Vaughn is gone. We talked to him a couple weeks ago, okay, at John Fisher. They traded away Astro World. Not Astro World. No, that's not him. I forget what is it? Is it astronaut? I forget. Bradley Chubb. I don't even know. But he's not here. He shot into space. He left Mile High, okay? This was a once terrifying pass rush. What are we working with here? If you look at the numbers, guys, they were bottom 10 in every single pass rush category last year, and that was with Chubb for half the season before he astro-worlded himself out of here. So as much as I love the secondary, and I do, friends of the show, Patrick Surtain, Simmons, they need to be able to get pressure on any quarterback, and there's some toughies in this division. Randy Gregory, I'm looking at you. You missed 11 games last year. You're back. Okay, what do you got? Frank Clark out of KC? Okay, let's see what he's got, New DC. Taken over. There's talent there. They got to prove that they got that, and I expect that to happen through the rest of the preseason. 2 games to go. These guys are playing lots of snaps. They're in pads. It is hot, so hot out here, and they're doing their thing. All right, we will be back because Sean Payton's over there talking to the media, telling stories, kissing babies, doing the whole thing. He will walk over here and be sitting with me after this. Thank you for your time. I know you are so busy. The last open practice, you had rounds of applause and ovation from all the fans who came out here. What kind of camp you're running here, Coach?
I think it's been, I don't want to say it's been a tough camp. It's all kind of relative. When I say to the players, look, I know some of you are getting tired. We still have 2 more weeks where we're going. Certainly, is it different from a year ago? I'm sure it is. And yet, with the rule changes, you're out here for 2.5 hours and then you have a PM walkthrough. So I think we're getting a lot covered. I think it's been physical. I think we've been in full pads quite a bit. Today we were in pads. But I think to some degree you have to, in order to play football, you have to learn to carry the pads, and, it's a physical game.
I keep hearing the word tempo out of your mouth. Tempo, tempo, tempo. Why is that so important to you right now?
I think for us, we do a lot of substitutions offensively. And the other thing is, if you're going to go to the line of scrimmage like so many teams do in our league with a couple choices, you want to have 14 seconds and not 7 seconds. So giving the quarterback more time at the line to get us in and out of the right play, I think that's important when we do that. And I think it's a way, it's always been a way where you can stress the defense, and we've always looked at it that way.
Okay, love having you here on the show. If you guys have comments at Up and Adam Show on YouTube, this is streaming live for the first time. It's the first time that you were our first guest
YouTube?
on the show.
Yes, I remember.
Look, I'm still here somehow.
Right? And you got microphones with your name on it and everything?
It's all really fancy. I think all of the fans here were like, oh, they're Broncos colors. And I said, yes, they are. Yes, they are.
Is that coincidence?
I don't know. Listen, speaking of fashion, I thought you were going to wear the old orange Michael Jordans here. What's going on?
Every day is a different pair. I put on just some white 11s. They're pretty clean. The problem is I've got, anytime you leave a place after 16 years, you have so much gear with black and gold colors.
Yeah.
And so I'm kind of building up a little bit of navy and orange now. Our equipment guys do a great job taking care of us. And then, we'll have some good kicks on for
There's
game
like
days.
a shoe that's dropping or something, I hear,
Yeah,
Mr.
I don't know if it's dropping.
I haven't seen Michael Jordan around here. I saw little Jordan Humphreys running off the field, but yeah.
Yeah, that's little Jordan.
Yeah, you've got that connection. I was looking at the jerseys here, and I looked it up while I was watching practice from the air-conditioned facility inside which was choice and very nice. 1995, I think, 97, the last time the jerseys changed. And they're very excited about the whiteout helmet and the snow caps and all that. But updates to the jersey, would you like to see that? 95, 97, 195? 97 is a long time ago.
I honestly, this is one of those, I think, iconic franchises. And I say that when you're in there, you see the Super Bowls, the Super Bowl banners, the playoffs, and the history.
Yeah.
So I'm a little bit more of a traditionalist, and so I think the uniforms are fantastic, and if they pull out a whiteout or something,
you're into it.
I just whatever. As long as the players are good with it, I'll just say check with the captains. I'm fine.
Well, the Broncos are implementing that twice a year and some changes, and obviously, like this whole team has changed in a 180 way since last year. What is the Sean Payton implementation that you are most proud of so far?
Well, I think the most important start is hiring a good staff. And all those years in New Orleans, and I've said this a number of times, man, I was, really fortunate to have great coaches in a number of different roles around me. We're watching Dan Campbell have success in Detroit. I'm proud of him,
I bet.
And Doug Marrone went off, became a head coach. Dennis Allen's now a head coach. Watching guys that came up just like all of us did and watching them get into that position. And I think this staff has got a number of bright young coaches that have a future possibly being a head coach. And then we've got some veteran coaches that I think have really helped us. So hiring the staff and getting that right, it took a while. And it's not easy anymore because if they're under contract, there's certain things you can and can't do. But we were able to put together a good staff and then keep finding the right players to bring into the building, that fit kind of what you're looking for. And then the players that are here, these guys have been responding really well. So it's tough. It's training camp, and yet I do feel like it's a group that's very, very hungry and anxious to play well.
Yeah, I mean, they're exhausted walking off this field. Coach, I've been to like 8 training camps. This is definitely – these guys are this is not a cupcake training camp, I would say.
No.
Good for you.
Yeah, I just – look, and as we get closer to the regular season, we'll have our legs back and we'll be smart. But I do think we need to build a little callus, getting ready for the season, and that's what we're trying to do.
You're doing that in training camp and then preseason. Like, you're running these guys.
100%.
But you were honest about how much work needed to be done. So Russell Wilson was out there. He looked great on first down. I think the second and third down numbers were a little left to the imagination. What are we looking forward to here?
I just answered that question in the media. I think that all right, what are we looking for in week 2? They're going to play more snaps. I want to see us a little bit better on third down. We had a couple missed field goals. We scored a touchdown, but a little bit more consistent up front. And I'd like us to see us run the ball a little bit more effectively. San Francisco, after their first preseason game, I'm sure they've had a tough week of practice knowing Kyle, and they'll want to respond the right way. So, there are so many different things you're looking at in a preseason game. We've identified a number of young players that we want to see. At some point, these guys all have to find advocates to the roster, whether it's the special teams coaches, the offense or defense. And, every preseason I've been involved with, younger players will step up, will block a punt, return a kick. They'll do something to really make you rethink and sometimes make a decision for you. And so hopefully we get to see some of that.
Can you take me into where the relationship is between you and Russell Wilson and how it's evolving? You have a quarterback who's paid a lot of money. He's very famous. He has pedigree. He's won a championship. He's done a lot in this league. Those, to me, would be the quarterbacks that would be the most difficult to coach. Why are you the perfect coach for Russell Wilson?
I think, look, we competed, our teams in Seattle, just for whatever reason, it seemed like played a number of important games in years past. We coached a number of those guys in the Pro Bowl back in Florida, I want to say 6 years ago. So Russ was one of the quarterbacks. And I think, look, when the common goal from certain players and coaches and the group is the same as to win and to win at a high level, then it's easy. Now, the work is difficult, but he's been fantastic. He's one of the first ones here. He'll be one of the last ones to leave. He'll step in my office. We'll talk about a package on offense, all of those things. And I think that, there were 16, 15 years where I was with Drew, and then the last year with Jameis and a number of other.
Jameis looked great before his I couldn't wait to see what you were going to do with Jameis.
Well, and so coming here, there are a lot of work ethic similarities. Now, they don't play exactly the same, and that's fine. But I would say, yeah, it's been really good. He's in great shape. He's down like 15 pounds, Russell is.
Yeah.
And
what does that mean to you? What do you want? What do I need to know?
One of the things he does well is, a lot of the off-schedule plays. Something breaks down, he can escape and then keep a play alive. He does that extremely well. And obviously, with the shape he's in now, I mean, if you're going to do that and run, he was always a threat to run, And so I think that we're kind of seeing that, what we were used to. These last 2 weeks have been really good for him. I mean, he's really been on point.
We love to hear. I'm so excited to hear that. What do you guys talk about that isn't a package or football? I'm like obsessed with your relationship.
Corny stuff. Listen, I give him a hard time. I like to be sarcastic and make fun, and so I think he's figuring me out a little bit.
Well, you're like a pirate, and he's like a Boy Scout. So what do you two talk about? Do you have a swear jar now?
We don't
what's
talk
happening?
about pirate or Boy Scout stuff. We talk about common interests.
Is there a common interest you can tell me?
I think we talk about his family. We talk about my family. We talk about.
You been on a double date with Russell and Sierra?
He likes, honestly, he asks a lot of questions about Drew. He asks a lot of questions about the offense. And I would say this, and this is a really good trait for any player, but he really, really wants to please. And he wants, just like Drew or just like Kamara or Cortland or these really good players, offensively or defensively, they want you to say wow at practice, and he's that way. And so, it's important when you see something that's kind of rare that you tell them, holy cow, like that was really good. We talk about a lot of things.
Did you talk about how this team has not beaten the Chiefs since 2015? And they're going up against a quarterback you've said a lot of nice things over the years.
Yeah.
But you did take Brady down twice a year most years as the coach of the Saints.
I think,
I'm not worried.
it's not this team. The teams of the past haven't. We've got a lot of respect for Andy. I've known Andy for a long time, certainly the Chiefs and what they've accomplished. And quite honestly, in our league, it's always funny how the first goal is to win the division. Mm-hmm. And so, in New Orleans, back then it was Tampa Bay, and we had to figure out a way to – and so – the Raiders, the Chargers, the Broncos, all of us are trying to get to that spot. And look, I think we play them this year twice within like a 3 or 4 week period. We play them on the road. We have a game, and I think we play them real quickly again. But honestly, that seems like a long time away. Now, we've spent time on film with our division opponents, but I would say the focus right now is a little bit more inward, like directly with what we're doing. But yeah, listen, the last regular season game I was at was the Super Bowl, with Fox, and watching it right there on the field and watching, how those guys play.
Well, speaking of Fox, I was with this man named Rob Gronkowski yesterday, your former coworker.
You were with Rob.
I was, and he
I was disappointed that I was waiting for that answer to be not Daboll,
well,
but Payton.
Would you like to address it? He said Daboll's the only coach that he could get to come out of retirement.
I heard it. He didn't say the only. He said he's the only coach if he would. But right after that, he said, but I'm not and I can't. So it was this big hypothetical 20-minute segment on Up and Adams.
Why don't you give Dulcich some love here? He looked good out there today.
He's doing really well.
Hey, we don't need you, Gronk. Why don't you just go to the Giants? Stay on the East Coast. He had a question for you.
What's up, Coach Sean Payton? It's your favorite co-analyst, Rob Gronkowski. It was a pleasure working with you last year on Fox, and I got a question for you. What's it like coming out of retirement, and do you think that year off is helping you this year as well?
Do you consider it retirement? Start there. Did you retire?
No, it was a year off.
Okay.
But
can you re-rack that?
It does kind of recharge the batteries. And, you have so much golf and things you want to do. And I loved working at Fox, and Gronk was the best. He hooked me up with some really nice shoes. He's got all these deals. He's got more deals.
He was complaining to me about like rent prices in LA. I was like, what's happening
He's
here?
got more deals.
He's amazing.
Anyway, it was good working with those guys, and I really enjoyed Rob. But I would say the year away, you are able to hit some checklist stuff. You know, I had a daughter got married. Connor's a senior now at TCU. I got a chance to jump on that train and watch those guys play well, see games, and do some things. And then there's that point where you know you have more left, and you know every day you kind of, it's like the racetrack is off in the distance. You could smell the gasoline, you see the lights.
You got itchy.
You hear the cars running, and you know, not right at that moment, but you know at some point you're going to head back.
Did you evolve at all? Like most people, like I would think you step away, you become more woosah. I got to tell you, Coach, you were like, you know, rolling in $250K into the locker room, doing dances with brooms, all that, and now you're like, get off my lawn, don't wear bucket hats, don't wear sun. Like what's going on with you?
Listen, it was.
What happened to you, Coach?
Nothing. It's the same. I think if I look back in 06, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. There's certain things clearly I approach differently now. The number one thing would be you learn to preserve your battery life a little more. You have so much battery life like a video game. And so you learn to ignore some of the stuff that doesn't matter that I didn't when I was younger. Like all of it was – but there still is and are your instincts of what you think it takes to be successful, and you pay close attention to those. And so your personality doesn't change. Do I worry as much about things from a long time ago? Probably not the same way. I'm probably easier to deal with a little bit. And yet,
okay.
No, but
Coach, you're the best.
I think that I think we're still in a passion business. And so Bill used to say this all the time, Parcells. We're looking for passionate coaches. We're looking for passionate players. It's hard to be really good at this if you're not passionate. It really is. And so, who are those people when it comes to the 53? We always talk about the 53, but the right 53.
Right.
You know, what's the makeup of that 53? And not sacrificing your ideals or what you believe is right relative to that roster. That won't change.
Yeah, I love that answer. Just a couple more things here. I know you're super busy, but thank you for your time. Yeah. This whole bucket hat thing, you have to address it somehow. I'm telling.
So it's no. It's not. I love bucket hats in the sun. We were just playing inside at Arizona, and
you used to wear visors in a visors. Like, was the sun bothering you then? I don't understand.
I almost wore a bucket hat today. I'm comfortable with the bucket hat, and honestly, I think that. It's kind of explaining to these guys, at least during the game. I think when guys are playing, I just said it, it might not be the most important game for some players, but it's the most important game in the world for others. And so I like the fact that they're into the game, and I think that's important.
I do want you to know that I, the investigative reporter, Walter Cronkite, that I am, reached out to Megan Payton. And I said, does this man own bucket hats? And she went and did some work for us. I just want you to know that will be. You have two. They're both white.
They're both white.
We have them on camera.
Come on.
She went to your house and took pictures and photos with them.
All right, I get it. No sunglasses, no interviews on the field during preseason, no bucket hats. But I'm a little confused. I'm at your house right now. Why did I find these? This one's also yours.
So we have a bucket hat that we've given to lots of coaches. I've sent you. I mean, Kevin James, who played you in a Netflix movie. I want to play a game with you, and I want to see if you're down. Are you a gamer? Are you competitive at all, Coach?
Yeah, I'm competitive.
You're kind of
a
wallflower.
I'm a gamer.
Okay, a game. Here's the game. It's a trivia about your life, your NFL life. Okay.
All right.
And what are we doing? If you get 3 right, you don't have to wear the bucket hat. If you don't get 3 right, we get a selfie of you in the bucket hat.
Perfect.
Okay.
Selfie?
A selfie.
Yeah, right.
Okay. Here it is. Ready? You threw 1 career interception during your time as a quarterback in Chicago. Who picked you off?
Who are the New Orleans Saints?
No. Who specifically?
Oh, I don't know the player.
You don't know the player? You're such a savant. Really? Okay,
well,
you got it wrong.
Pass of my career, it went to the Saints right corner.
Saints DB Reggie Sutton.
Yep.
Yeah, that was him. Okay, well, 1 wrong. Yay! Your first official.
Who was Favre's last interception against?
Why would I know?
It was the Saints right corner.
Was it?
Tracy Porter.
Well, Tracy Porter. Well, you don't get extra.
You're wearing the
extra
bucket
credit.
hat.
No. Your first official game as an NFL OC was the legendary Thunder and Lightning game with the 2000 NFC champion Giants. How many touchdowns did Tiki and Rondane combine for?
Thunder and Lightning Cardinals game. That was week 1, 2000. That's the year we go to the Super Bowl. I bet those two had 3 combined.
3 combined. But here's my real question. What were you doing during the 23-minute weather delay? I bet you were a joy to be around.
I remember it was lightning. And look, we had kind of come up with this.
Out.
We come up with this package just to get the right backs on the field, and then those two started selling T-shirts, and I'm like, "Wait a minute, you didn't check with
Really?
There was no." So those were fun guys to coach.
1-1. In 2006, you were named Coach of the Year with an astounding 88% of the vote. Who finished second?
What was the year?
2006.
2006.
You want
I'm
the
gonna
bucket
say-
hat. You want the bucket hat.
I'm going to say Lovie Smith.
No, Eric Mangini
Really?
got 6% of the vote. Why does this man only have one Coach of the Year? I don't know. That's the dumbest thing I've read in a long time. Bonus question, which current NFL head coach won Defensive Rookie of the Year that same award season?
Which current NFL head coach won Defensive Rookie of the Year that same
must
season?
make you feel, that makes me
All right.
feel old.
Holy cow. Don't
Do you know
look,
it?
it's
D'Amico.
D'Amico Ryan.
That wasn't one for that. Don't worry. That was
I
one
was
of the
just
questions.
going the route of the Campbell or the Vrabels.
You-
D'Amico was very good.
you-
Drafted by Houston.
Crazy that.
I remember him well.
Crazy. You faced your mentor, Bill Parcells, once.
Sunday Night Football, the first flex game ever.
2006, first year as head coach in New Orleans. You wiped the floor with his Cowboys. Do you remember the final score?
Yeah, 40-something to 20-something.
That's not it.
30-something to 20-something.
Do you don't care about scores of games that
No,
much?
it was pretty.
You beat
I know.
you mentioned Parcells 9 times a day. You
I know.
beat him.
It was one of those games where everything went right. We onside kicked in the third quarter.
I know, but I'm shocked that you don't know the score.
I don't know the score of that game.
41-17.
I said 40-something to 20-something,
no.
so
Drew
I was
Brees,
off.
it doesn't count. He threw for 384, 5 touchdowns. What Parcells
You ready?
did you do after that one?
We had a fullback catch 3 of them in that game.
You're not getting points
Like
for
his
this.
parents were going crazy. He never caught touchdowns.
You
Mike Carney.
engineered one of the most stunning upsets in playoff history in 2000 with the Giants calling the plays for that 41-0 blowout against the Vikings, and everyone was saying the Vikings were going to win that NFC title game. Who scored the first touchdown for you?
Ike Hilliard, all goes special.
That was the play call?
Yeah, and then they fumbled the kickoff, and we scored on the next play, and that would have been Greg Camella, K4 solid F wheel.
Okay, last one. Ready? Your first win as a head coach. There's Russell Wilson. There's
Regular
Russell
season?
Wilson. Your first win as a head coach at Mile High didn't come until 2020, Coach.
I know.
In the infamous Kendall Hinton game,
I
the
know.
guy who wore that cable knit sweater, the cream one. I remember that sweater very much from this post game. Your Saints won 31-3. Did the two teams combine for over or under 100 yards passing in that game?
Over 100 yards passing.
Under. Ha! We
Under.
won.
We had-
91. Him and Taysom. I just scared Coach.
We have.
Coach, calm
Here's
down.
what I remember about that game.
Woo!
We had a
Tell
lot
me.
of cardboard fans. You know what they did during COVID? They set the cardboard fans in the end zone.
What a time to live through.
And so coming off the field, I was on Taysom about, hey, there's only one way we lose this game. And I remember in pregame looking over, and I'm watching Kendall, and I've kidded him about it. And he's throwing routes to receivers on air, and like 4 of them just skidded in the grass. And I just turned to Taysom. I said, you better not throw an interception in this game. The only way we lose. But I was asked my thoughts after the game, and I said, this is a game where I think we should give the cardboard figures their money back. It was just there was no quarterbacks for Denver.
At some point, you have to have a podcast. You do realize.
Yeah,
How about your own daughter going and doing my dirty work?
She's like
Megan.
She's doing a bunch of work now.
She is. She's over with us at FanDuel. We
Right.
love it.
I'm excited
All right,
for
I'm
her.
just going to put this on your head, and then
All
we'll
right.
go to break.
Here we go.
Are we getting go grab your quarterback, Coach? Oh, this is a good look. All right. Look at this. You're like a regular Indiana Jones.
There we
What's
go.
the Gilligan's Island song?
Here we go.
Can you sing it? What is it? Do
I
you
don't know the Gilligan song.
Ginger?
Perfect.
She was pretty. Who's the other one?
Marianne.
Marianne, yeah. That you knew. That detail, weirdly, Coach remembered. We'll be back on Up and Adams. Well. Sean Payton in a bucket hat, and you people said it could not be done. Up and Adams bucket hat, by the way, and some sunglasses. Russell Wilson is on the way. We will talk to his receivers next. That's right, Judy, Cortland Sutton. They're coming on the show. Woo, 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 woo. Up and Adams fans, keeping cool here in Englewood. Final practice. We are here all day wrapping up our season. visiting training camps. But now the real action begins, and it's time for your fantasy drafts, little fantasy bits today. And when it comes to this squad, listen, I know there's some broken hearts out there, some PTSD. I get it. You thought Russell Wilson was going to come in. Jerry Jeudy was going to stay healthy and be a thing. Courtland Sutton was going to take a step up, finally having some stability, a Hall of Fame quarterback potentially. It did not work out that way. So I want to focus on these wide receivers and how you should approach them in your draft, and I want to focus on Courtland Sutton. Let's pull up the rankings, shall we? Let's take a look here. All right, Courtland is going as wide receiver 4, okay? That's later rounds, after guys like Gabe Davis, and let's see, after Treylon Burks, too. Wow, this is a guy who posted an 1,100-yard Pro Bowl season with Joe Flacco, Brandon Allen, and Drew Lock as his quarterbacks that year, okay? He sat next to me for a bit. He's a big guy, okay? This is a win at the catch point in contested situations dynamo sort of guy we're talking about here. He's a downfield threat, and I don't know. Like, I think he plays into what looks like it's going to be a play-action heavy and based attack here in Mile High. I don't know if that he'll outperform Jerry Jeudy. Jerry Jeudy, of course, has to stay healthy. He said so to us himself. But I feel like he's going to be a great value if he's really going as your wide receiver 4. Can you imagine having that as my option when I have a bye week? Oh, I guess I have to. No, you get to play Courtland Sutton and plug him into your lineup, and he could end up being better than advertised. So he's got the skill set. He's got Sean Payton. This offense should be flying. Everybody stay healthy. Sky's the limit. Now we get to talk to Courtland Sutton and Jerry Jeudy. Here they are, the wide receiver duo that's going to take down Keenan Allen and Mike Williams. Tell me what kind of camp this man is running.
Man, we've been working. It's Coach run a tight ship around here for sure.
Yeah, now you've had so many different quarterbacks, truly, to start different seasons in these training camps. What have you noticed so far that sets Russell Wilson 2023 apart?
He's you can tell that he's been working this offseason. I mean, he works every offseason, but you can tell that, his mindset, his mental, his physical is in a different level, and it's been fun to see, him doing his thing, and then, him and Coach P have been, they've created this bond together, and it's been fun to watch.
I asked him what they talk about outside of football, Jerry, and he did not have an answer for me. It's like all they talk about is ball and packages. He mentioned how Russell looks physically. He's lost like 15 pounds. He looks great. How does that affect what he's doing out there with you?
That's just keeping him in shape, having him feel light, and be able to stay conditioned, So, man, as a quarterback, you need to be out there each and every play. I feel like he slimmed down a little bit just to make sure that speed right.
What's the biggest change that you see out here, not even out here, in the building? I know there's new signage. There's a lot of different things happening. Coach Sean Payton probably picks the toilet paper that goes in the bathroom here. He's so specific about everything. What's the biggest change that you've noticed?
The biggest change, just the way we practice for real. That's the biggest change. Just the way we do things around here. Just how he want things done and stuff like that. So I feel like that's the biggest change for real.
How about you? Biggest change you're noticing?
I would say the same thing. It's there's a rhyme and reason behind everything that he has going on, and one thing I enjoy about coaching, I've been learning about him is he's not just he tells us what's going to happen, and he's going to explain why. All the way down to every period in practice. It can be something as simple as, hey, we're going 7-on-7, but he's like, all right, we're doing 7-on-7, but it's going to be 7-on-7. The emphasis is bunches and stacks, and now we know what's going on. The defense understands what's going on. We all have an understanding of what the expectation is moving into that period, and that goes about, like you said, with the toilet paper, everything. He does that with everything that we do in the building, so everybody knows what's going on.
Nick Ferguson's over there laughing at that, but that's true. Like, this is a man who, when I covered him with the Saints, no detail did not fly across his desk. Like, the Christmas card would come by, and you'd be like, no, let's change. Like, he sort of wants to put his entire imprint on that, and it looks like through one preseason game that's already happened. Is there something, Jerry, that you're specifically working on for this season outside of I don't even know things that we know you can do? You have so much potential in this league. Is there a specific part of your game you've been working on?
This part is just there's preventing injuries, really. Just going in there in the training room, just doing a little bit of ankle work and mobility and stuff like that. That's the biggest thing, because last two seasons I've been hurt, and with ankle injuries.
Yeah.
So that's more I'm really focused on with injury prevention and stuff like that. You know, everything else is become natural.
We'd love to see it. Now, Cortland mentioned the kind of camp coach is running, and it's really different. You go up against Patrick Surtain from way back in the day, from before you guys were in the NFL. What have you noticed in his game that's sort of gotten better, changed, or gotten different? That must be fun to go up against him.
Yeah,
all the time.
it's always fun to go against Pat because that's one of the DBs. You know, I really gotta focus in and on how I'm gonna run my route and stuff like that. You know, Pat just became a lot more patient in his technique and stuff like that. You know, so having a guy like that, you know, is always good, especially having a DB, one of the best DBs in the league to go against in practice. You know, is always great because that don't do nothing but make you better.
Do either of you talk?
Huh?
Do either of you talk to each other out there?
Nah, not really.
You're
You
both
know, we
so quiet. I love it.
We respect each other's
Yeah.
game. You know, we all about the work.
All right, we're not going to talk here much either, but Cortland, you're going to switch seats with me. We're going to play a little fun game. You don't have to talk much, but I'm going to give you guys some prompts, right? And you're going to basically say, is it me or is it him? Okay, so who does Russell Wilson like better? Point to yourself or point to the other person. Who does Russell like better?
Oh, no.
Neither? You guys don't? How do you not know who he likes? Does he like both of you?
Yeah.
Yeah? What do you guys talk to Russell about outside of football?
All types of stuff.
Really?
Yeah, Russ is like, I don't know, he like a big brother to us. You know, he want to put us on game with life. You know, business.
Yeah.
You know, we talk a lot of ball, but outside of that, it's just, you know, life. Just, you know, things away from ball. You know, that matters. Like he definitely one of those people that make sure that we understand that, you know, ball is important. Ball is one of those things that comes, you know, at a high priority in our lives, but it's not the number one. You got family, you got a lot of things, you know, there's a lot of things going to happen once ball is done for us, and he's trying to help guide us, you know, in that right direction.
People think they know Russ. People say things about Russ. It's so nice to hear what you guys are saying about your teammate.
He's great people. I don't know why people talk so bad about him. He's a
I know
great
why.
human
It's just
being.
the media trying to get some clickbait
Yeah,
and
that's all
stuff
it
like
is.
that.
I'm all about hyping it up. Don't look at me like that, Jared. I'm not trying to do
I'm
anything.
not saying I'm not
Okay.
including you.
Who gets yelled at more by Sean Payton?
Oh,
At us?
You guys play the game, me or him? Yes. Who gets yelled at more by Sean Payton? Neither of you?
I mean, yeah,
Neither of you have ever been yelled at? How nice.
We
Yeah.
get coached up.
Yeah, we get
Okay.
coached up, not yelled at. For real.
We're in Denver. Who's more likely to drive a Subaru?
That's I don't even know what that is.
Who's more likely to get their car stuck in the snow?
Oh,
Wait, why?
yeah. My dog from Florida, you know, they don't see no snow down there.
Yeah, I say me.
Who's more likely to survive a zombie apocalypse?
Oh yeah.
Me.
That's me. I'm from the country. I know how to disappear. I know how to camouflage. I've hunted before. You know, I know how to. You know, if I gotta work something, I can work something if I need to.
See, my girl always talk about the zombies and the aliens, so she already got. If anything happens, she already got everything set up. So we gonna be straight.
Who takes longer to reply to text?
Oh yeah, I'm bad.
Oh no, we both.
Yeah, we both
kinda
probably bad on that one. I ain't gonna lie.
You two are leaving Russell Wilson on red? No.
I mean, we
depends
respond
on
when we see him. It depends.
It all depends. It all depends.
Okay. Who has the better hands?
Better hands. I mean, Corey got a lot of consistent catches, you know, and I had a lot of drops my rookie year, and I only progressed.
He-
I get
that's
a Corey.
cute.
I get
like
a Corey.
that. Okay, last couple ones here. Who's more likely to see a Grateful Dead concert at Red Rock?
A what?
Great. There we go.
I go watch it.
Okay, good. You'll go. Who's the better mentor to Marvin Mims?
I mean,
think
we
we
both.
both, yeah.
We both. Really meant to.
Who's offering to pay the bill first?
Corey, big money. Corey got all the money, man.
I take care of it. But Drew got this next one up that we got coming. So we make. We make
But
it
to be
shake.
honest, we usually go half
Yeah,
on
we
everything.
usually split it. Yeah.
Yeah.
This is the kind of listen. I was over there with the Chargers talking to Keenan and Mike Williams. They think they're the best wide receiver tandem right now in the NFL. Want to say something about that?
I mean, they should believe in that. We
Yeah,
believe we the best
everybody's
too.
believing themselves, but we just show them. We don't
Yeah.
talk too much about it. We just show up and go to work.
For sure.
They can't survive a zombie apocalypse. I love that your reasoning is because you're from the country. You're from the country, so zombies, aliens, we're done.
Yeah, we good. Yeah.
Good luck, guys. Thank you so much for the time.
Thank you.
All right, the revolving door of stars continues, and the biggest one, the big fish who's 15 pounds lighter. Joining me next, Russell Wilson is going to stop by and chop it up for a bit. We could not be more excited. All after this on Up and Adams. Up next, speaking of rebellious, here's Russell Wilson, Super Bowl champion. Wow, is he going to come sit with us? Yay! Okay, I'm here with Russell Wilson. As you can see, the grounds crew are out here. You're the last one off the field always. Why is that?
I think that obviously during training camp you try to get extra work. Obviously these fans here, they're so great in Broncos country. So, you try to have some time with the fans and everything else. And it's a good time, man. We've been having some great practice. I'm fired up at what we're doing.
I heard about it. I want to talk, a little bit about this 15 pounds I keep hearing about. Coach brought it up. Why did you slim down? That's a lot of weight.
Well, I'm just trying to be as lean as possible, quick as possible, trying to, stay in my younger days as long as possible. Yeah, so I feel great. I've done a whole change on kind of my timing of when I eat and all that kind of stuff. So been doing a lot of intermittent fasting and stuff like that. So
that doesn't even sound a little bit fun.
It's not bad, actually. Once you get used to it, the discipline, it's good for the mind.
Yeah. What's the one food that you miss the most? What is Russell Wilson's guilty pleasure?
I'm a huge, if you go to a restaurant and there's mac and cheese, you got to try it. Okay. But I've been staying away from that. I grew up on that. So, but biggest thing is just trying to eat as lean as possible. Feeling good. I've been working out multiple times a day. So I feel great. I was just with Jerry, Judy, and Cortland Sutton, and I asked them who you like more, and they both sat there like, do you just love them both? Yeah, of course. How could you not? These guys, man, these are two stars, man. That's just how Jerry, just how he gets open. He's hard to cover, man. I'm not sure if I've seen anybody cover him yet. And then you have Cortland Sutton who can make every play, every catch. The best thing about Cortland is he can play any sport. I'm telling you, this guy, he can hit a golf ball 350 yards. He can shoot a basketball. He can play anything. So it's cool. It's cool to be around both of them. You seem very confident, and you always are. You are this role model for so many people, not just in football but around the world. Has your confidence sort of evolved from maybe last season where you were to this season? Well, I think you always try to keep your confidence high. Your confidence should never waver, but there's moments. You know, I think that it was some lulls and things that you try to get through. But I think you always remind yourself who you are, where you've been, and where you're going. Yeah. And I think that when you put the hard work in, that's going to come out on the other side. And so for me, I'm just grateful I got amazing teammates around me. Obviously, Coach Payton, he brings a lot of confidence too, a lot of swagger. So we both share that. I think our team shares that, and we're just staying focused on the work. And I'm excited to get back out there and play. And we're seeing we got preseason week 2. Last one for you mentioned Coach, and he's a madman. I think he's a pirate. I mean, what is your how would you describe your relationship with Coach Payton? Well, we've gotten actually really close. Over the years, we've admired each other, but also been around each other. We've played each other a bunch on the other sides, competed against each other. But then at the same time, we went to the Pro Bowl, and that's when we really got to know each other. Obviously there was Drew there, Alvin Kamara, Michael Thomas, all those guys, and we got to spend a lot of time, and I remember Doug Baldwin was there. So we just had a lot of, great players there, but I got to spend some one-on-one time with him then and just be around him, around his mind. But I think the best thing about Coach, one, he knows what he wants, but two, like I said earlier, he has a swagger to him. He has a confidence, and I think the biggest thing is he's done it. At the end of the day, when you step on that field in between those white lines, there's only so many people that have done it and won a Super Bowl and have done it at the highest level, and he's one of those guys. You too, buddy. Yeah, so it's one of those things that it's a gift, and so to be around, a special coach like Coach Payton, we're all blessed to be around him. And I think our relationship is obviously super close around ball. Obviously, family too. Mm-hmm. He's a family guy, and then also too, as well. He's got a business mindset. He processes a lot. So there's a lot that we talk about, but I would say 85% of it's ball for sure. That's what Cortland and Jerry said, that you talk to them about family, you talk to them about business, that the ball is ball, and you're dedicated to that 100%. But there are other things, and they really appreciated that. I loved hearing that from these two. Yeah, I think that this game, I think this funny thing is that when you come into the NFL, the first thing I never forget is rookie symposium. And the guy walks onto the stage. I'm a rookie. I'm a third-round pick, 75th overall. And I'm like, oh, here we go. And the guy walks onto the stage and, what does the NFL stand for? And we're like, I'm tapping my teammates next to me, like, National Football League. And you're like, no, not for long. And I think that a lot of times that when you're playing the game, fans and people, they forget that, we're obviously we have a special craft that God's gifted us with, but to be able to have things that you care about, also to allow you to have that peace and joy outside of the game. And these guys like Courtland and Jerry, I mean, if you go anywhere with Jerry Judy, all the kids are going to freak out around Jerry Judy because he's such a star. They watch him dance. They watch him on the field. Same thing with Courtland, man. He's got this big smile. I went to his wedding. We had such a blast at his wedding, dancing and having him dancing the night away, him and his beautiful wife, and just the process of how close Sierra and Courtland's wife are.
That's
it's
amazing.
it's awesome, just the bond. But I think that's not just about ball all the time. It's also about life and how to be a better man, how to be a better husband, how to be a better person, how to help in the community, and how to do business too in life. And but the great thing is that the number one priority is winning and getting out there and playing our best. And these guys are doing a great job of it. And so it's been awesome just to be on the process of doing this thing together every day. And being with such great teammates.
It feels very family. Goodbye, AFC West. We'll see what happens this year. I wish you all the success in the world. Also, I would never dance in front of Sierra. Like, I literally, are you nervous dancing in front of her?
I don't get nervous, but I try not to dance too much. I let her do her thing.
You let her do her thing.
You
know where to go. You got it. All right.
She 1-2 steps all day.
Yes, she does. All right, I mean, Rocky Mountain vibes. I don't want to leave here. I don't want to end our training camp tour, but it was the perfect place to do it with so much new energy. Outside the building, inside the building. This fan base, remember, this is one that they're just still celebrating those Nuggets winning. They are ready to keep on going, and they have what it takes if they can stay healthy, getting the best out of Jerry Jeudy, who we've talked about for years, hitting the ceiling of his potential, hitting through it. And they could be the best wide receiver tandem. We don't know. We know Russell Wilson is motivated. We know that he's being consistent, that he's had a really two great couple of weeks in camp. He's going to play a lot in these 2 preseason games. I think I can tell you that much. And I learned that Coach Sean Payton not only likes bucket hats, owns 2, and that I think his daughter likes him more than she likes him because she did my bidding, and she was awesome. And we got to get Megan Payton in studio on the show at some point. We are so grateful. I also love hearing, it really feels familial to me. I will say that. Like, it really feels like Jerry Jeudy and Courtland Sutton are for their quarterback. They like him more than just talking about packages and routes and speed and all of that. They're enjoying each other's company. They're attending weddings together, as we heard from Russell Wilson. Like, that's the kind of stuff where you kind of sit back and you're like, okay, all right, I like this. I like what I'm hearing. If their defense can happen, somebody emerges as a pass rusher. Maybe it's Frank Clark, the old wily veteran. We've got so much to look forward to with this Broncos fan base in 2023. And we'll be back in studio on Monday, or I will not wear sunglasses. Fine. Bye. Hey, thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get the latest Up and Adams content right on YouTube.